He is arguably the biggest and the chunkiest of the Zodiac series from Medarot Navi. It is the crab type of the celestial bodies, CNC00 Cancer, coming with the kit of Disturbance, Laser, Napalm, multi-legs, and the leg ability of Nest, which reinforces any active trap on the field when charging Metaphors for their turn. Now, we have actually seen Cancer in previous as an enemy NPC in an event a pretty fair bit of time ago, but this will be Cancer's official debut as a pullable model in the gacha, and joining the official pools from here forward as a model that will be subject to making reruns. Disturbance is a setup-based skill which, simply put, while active on the field, will prevent and negate any and all non-attacking skills. This includes any healing skills, support skills, even other setup skills, or even defense skills. As long as that trap is active, if they are not using an offense-based skill or attack, their turn will effectively be wasted, making this a very nasty force to be reckoned with right from start. Right Arm of Laser is a shooting-based skill with an optic attribute, meaning that it will gain a times 1.5 damage bonus at a 30% Metaforce charge, and a times 2 bonus at 100% charge. And then Left Arm of Napalm for scattered damage as a scattered AoE, and Gunpowder skill is meaning it will damage one part at normal, and then 2 others at random at 1/3 of the damage. And then, of course, with multi-legs gives Cancer very moderately solid coverage on most terrains very easily, especially when it comes to, say, mountainous terrains where he absolutely is very handy on. And honestly, the leg ability of Nest does tie into his head skill very nicely, making this very clunky crab type a very dangerous force on the field to be reckoned with, especially if you have any kind of defender, supporter, or even healer. So particle mains, such as myself, are going to be really in for a rough time when it comes to having to put up with this crab type and take him out quickly. That being said, as a pure set score, I do have to rate him a very solid 7 out of 10 for his relatively solid coverage as a shoot fighter. Even though his laser, which is his best skill, is a Metaforce reliant skill, he honestly doesn't really need to be as reliant on Metaforce sustain in order to use it, especially since with Napalm, he does have a little extra coverage when it comes to peppering parts and prepping them to be broken a lot easier later. So say a couple blows from Napalm and then finish it with Laser, and then paired it off with, say, a Hunter or Sniper Nature Metal, should be in more than enough Metaforce sustain that Cancer should need just to keep himself afloat. His stats across the board are honestly really nice too. About almost 3,200 HP for the head, almost 3,100 per arm, and about 3,400 for the legs. Very solid base power too, especially for a base power laser and Napalm as a scattered AoE. His leg stats are actually pretty nice too, in that nice sweet spot of where you'd want to be. Not absurdly broken like a lot of types that we've seen in recent, but still enough that they are absolutely something to be considerable when selecting them to use on teams. With a mobility of about 760, an evade of 938, melee resist of 737 isn't all that great, but it definitely could be much worse, which means you definitely don't want to use Cancer anytime when it comes to getting up close and personal, but his shoot resist of 1211 does very easily make up for it, especially in addition to the fact that his legs can support 2 heavy parts. As mixed parts, I honestly have to rate him a pretty solid 7.5 out of 10, given that even though all of his parts together as a pure set make him kind of weird, if you use his parts separately, you can definitely use them to their fullest potential, especially given that Disturbance is such a very valuable setup skill in terms of current and competitive meta for keeping healers, defenders, and supporters at bay and preventing them from really getting under your skin and really messing with any of your strategies. That being said, if you were to use Cancer as mixed parts, using his head and his legs together honestly would be the best and absolute recommendation, even if you decide to use him as, say, a support or passive aggression base, using, say, Disturbance with his legs, and then maybe paired off with a support base skill or a plant, just to kind of help keep things in your favor.